What up, people? And welcome back to some more Yu-Gi-Oh! So today, I have a little bit of a special deck. I've been wanting to play this one for a while, but I was a little iffy about it. But I think it'd be fun. We might get a lot of people quitting on us just because of the deck itself, but maybe not, who knows. It is Exchange of the Spirit. The whole deck is based around me discarding my entire deck to the graveyard first turn, activating Exchange of the Spirit, and making it so I win first turn. What Exchange of the Spirit does is if each player has 15 or more cards in their graveyard, pay 1,000 life points, both players swap cards in their deck with the cards in their graveyard, then shuffle the... That's the wrong Exchange of the Spirit. Hold on. We want this one. Yes. This one, activate when there's 15 or more cards in my graveyard, pay 1,000 life points. Both players swap the cards in their graveyard with the cards in their deck, then both players shuffle their deck. So it makes it so that I can deck them first turn. But let's get into the deck profile before we get too far into this. As you can tell, it's a lot of banned cards and a lot of triple banned cards, meaning it's a unlimited deck, not just a traditional deck. It's all based around emptying my deck as fast as possible. So we have Makura the Destructor. Okay, during this turn, the card sent to the graveyard, the owner of this card can activate trap cards from his or her hand. So it's all based around one turn. We have one of these. So when we're doing all our discarding, all our drawing, everything, we send that to the graveyard, we hold on to one of these in our hand. And we can activate it from our hand. So that's why he's in there. Then we have 3 Magical Scientists. Okay, this card got banned way back in the day because people were OTKing with it really fast. I mean, you could get 5-God Dragon out, you could get Blue Eyes Ultimate out. It was awesome. But then they got rid of it really quick. But you pay 1,000 life points, special summon 1 level 6 or lower fusion monster from your fusion deck in face-up attack mode or defense position. Wow, they changed it a lot, didn't they? That fusion monster cannot attack your opponent's life points directly and is returned to your fusion deck at the end of the turn. So that's just to help get out the Xing monsters. That's all it's there for, and it might come out of here because I thought it done something different. I thought you had to discard plus pay 1,000. But it's nice to have these guys as well. We'll get into them here in a minute. Then we got 1 Soul Release. I don't want my opponent to have any cards in the graveyard, is what it comes down to. So this helps me remove their graveyard from play and just have nothing in their graveyard. That's the whole reason behind it. Then we got Drag Down into the grave. You and your opponent look at each other's hands, select 1 card from each other's hands, and discard them to the graveyard, and each draw 1 card. So that's why Exchange or Soul Release is there, because when I play Soul Exchange, I don't, or is it Soul or Exchange of the Spirit? That's what it is. When I play that, I don't want them to have any cards in their graveyard. So with that there, that means that I can deck them in 1 turn if I can get rid of their cards. These are just fillers mainly. Preferably, I'd like to just draw my cards, discard all of them, and not have them do any, but it happens. Then we got 1 Day at Peace. It's just a draw, and neither player takes damage until the end of the next your opponent's next turn. So this deck's not about doing damage. It's about mill so they can't draw. That's the whole point of the deck. So we got 3 of those. Then we got 3 Pots of Greed. Just helps me thin the deck that much more. Then 3 Upstarts. I'll let them gain a life. I'm not worried about it as long as I can get those 3 cards. That's about it. Then Card Destruction. So that's another Soul Release hit. I might have to run more Soul Release. And if it comes down to it, I'll get rid of the Magical Scientist and 2 more Soul Release. But this is just another, if I have to, I'll play Card Destruction. When did that change? Because that used to be a quick play. I don't know. Then we got 3 Dark World Dealings. It's another one of the draw a card, discard a card. But each player does it. Now this card, it's an older card. Painful Choice. Hasn't seen play in a long time. Because people were using it for chaos. But I select 5 cards from my deck and reveal them to my opponent. My opponent selects 1 card. Add that card to my hand, and the rest go to the graveyard. So the way this one really helps the deck a lot is I use this and I'll select, say, like 2 Upstart Goblins and 3 of the Into the Void. Both of them let me draw a card. So technically Painful Choice is activating all their effects. I get to draw 5 cards, but I also get to dump 4 of them to the graveyard, which just helps me in the long run. So Painful Choices let me activate those cards without actually having to activate them, if it makes sense. And I run 3, so if I can run more, if I could play more back to back, I'll just do like Dark World Dealings. Dark World does the same exact thing. I could do One Day at Peace. Same thing. Card Destruction, sort of the same. It lets me draw 5 cards and then discard 4 of them. So it's pretty much the same. Then Graceful Charities. I draw 3, discard 2. These guys are awesome for this deck. It lets me just put 2 of my cards into the graveyard, just the way it works. So that's really good, and it doesn't affect the opponent either. So that's a really good card for this deck. And then Into the Void. If I have 3 more cards in my hand, I can draw 1 card. Then during the end phase, discard all the cards in my hand. It's probably not going to make it to the end phase. That's the way this deck works. It's usually an FTK. So if I could go first, well, they're probably going to lose. That's just the way it is. Then we got Hand Destruction. This is another one that I don't want to use it unless I absolutely have to. Each player sends 2 cards from their hand to the graveyard, then draws 2 cards. It's nice for the draw, but it also fills their graveyard full, and I don't want that. Like I've said before, I don't want any card in their graveyard at all, if possible. Then we got Sixth Sense. Declare 2 numbers from 1 to 6. Your opponent rolls a 1 6-sided die. If the results of either of the 2 declared numbers, draw that number of cards. If not, send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard equal to the die roll. So it's either I get a draw or discard. That's amazing for this deck. So it just really works well for this deck. But before I activate something like that, I desperately need 1 Exchange of the Spirit in my hand. Because if they both go to the graveyard, well, this deck's done. So I don't want to start discarding stuff until I get at least 1 of these in my hand. And it comes to the point where if I have to, say I have to do card destruction or something, I will set this and activate it at the beginning of their turn before they draw. That way I can sort of stand a chance. Now, let's get to the extra deck. Alright, so we got 3 Dark Fire Dragons and 3 Carbonilla Warriors. They're just targets for Magical Scientist. They're 6 level 4s. And we have, they go for the Xe monsters. That's all they're for. So, we'll get to the Xe monsters in a second. Then we got Thousand Eyes Restrict. We got 3 of them. This guy's awesome in general just by himself. Other monsters cannot change their battle position or attack. Once per turn, you can equip 1 monster your opponent controls to this card. This card's attack and defense become the same as the equipped monster. If it would be destroyed, destroy the equipped monster instead. So it's Xe before Xe for the most part. But they're just there to get out another Xe monster. That's all the extra deck is for, is to get out extra deck. So, I mean, the Magical Scientists are nice and all, but I might switch them out for something else depending on how the deck runs. But we'll get there in a minute. Then we got number 10 Luminite. Once per turn, it takes 3 level 4s, so there's 6 of them. But once per turn, you can detach 1 material from it, send 1 card from my hand to the graveyard, and draw a card. So, I mean, if it comes down to it, I could summon 2 of them and detach 2 or 1 from each and draw 2, discard 2. Not the best use of materials and life points, that is. I mean, that would cost me 6,000 life points. But if I can pull it off, I mean, that's... Then we got Level Chain, 2 level 4 monsters. Level Chain, there we go. Now, once per turn, I can detach 1 material and activate one of the effects. Send 1 card from my deck to the graveyard, choose 1 monster from my deck, and place it on top of my deck. I mean, that's it. It's a mill card mainly. That's about it. Then we got Gold Rat. Takes 3 level 1 monsters. That's why those guys are there. Once per turn, I can detach 1 material from it. Draw 1 card and then shuffle 1 card from my hand to my deck. That's about it. I mean, the extra deck, it's not really needed. And if anything, Magical Scientist is target for Painful Choice. That's about it. So, Painful Choice, if I draw it first hand, best thing I'm probably going to do will be target a Destroyer, a Magical Scientist, probably 3 Upstarts, and a 1 day at peace. And then whatever they choose will help me out a lot. You see what I'm saying? If I get a Magical Scientist, well, then I could go into a Luminite or a Level Chain or even a Gold Rat. If they give me a 1 day at peace, I just draw another card and dump the other 4. Or one of the Upstart, I draw a card and they gain 1,000, but who cares? I dump the other 4. They won't give me Makor. No. Because they'll think, well, he's going to summon it. No, I'm not going to summon it. I want it dumped to the graveyard. But even if they give me that, the other 4 go to the graveyard, I should have something in my hand to dump cards with. Or draw or something. So, it'll all work out. But I'm going to leave it there. This is the deck profile. It's solid. It's really solid, and it really should be an FTK pretty much every... Sorry about that. Should be an FTK pretty much every game. If you have any tips or comments about it, let me know in the comments. And yeah, I'll definitely look into them, because This is a fun deck for the most part. It's nothing that I'm going to play a lot of. It'd be those times when I find somebody that I just want to goof around with and play. This would be the deck I'll play just to make them mad and destroy them really fast like. But yeah. But if you like what you saw, leave a like. If you want to see more, hit that sub button. Again, any tips, comments, suggestions, or just want to say what up, leave it down in that comment box and I'll get back with you. But thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.